Yeah.
I'd like to call the Joint Special School Building Committee to order. We're at Nashua High School North Lecture Hall. It's Thursday, July 21st, 2022, and it's 7:06 p.m. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yep, hold on. Alderman Dowd,
Present.
Alderwoman Wilshire,
I'm here.
Alderwoman Clee, not here, Alderwoman Timmons,
Here.
Alderman Sullivan, not here, Miss Raymond,
Here.
Miss Lampier,
Here.
Miss Bishop is here, Miss Gilio,
Here.
and Mr. Claffey is not here. All are present.
We have a quorum. Alderman Sullivan is at the moment flying back from California. That's why he's not here. Alderman Clee is out of town. And I believe Alderman Claffey is also tied up this evening.
Alderman who?
You mean Board of Ed member?
I'm sorry.
That's just Mr.
Mr. Claffey. Okay. The clerk will lead us in the prayer, and Alderman at Large Timmons will lead us in the pledge.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty to manage the educational affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all of our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If there are no objections, I'll waive the reading of the minutes of the June 23rd, 2022, and place them on file. Remarks by Chairman. Thank you, everybody, for coming out this evening. I think we've, between the major storms outside, so that's good. One thing I do want to mention, it may come up tonight that a couple of our projects, especially Franklin Street, has a lot of crunch things going on. They're trying to get school back by the end of August. So there are things that that are within my signing range that won't be able to wait for the next board joint special meeting. So those may come up this evening, and I think we also have one on the new middle school, and because timing is getting critical on some stuff. So. All right. Remarks by school administration. Anything, Sean?
I have nothing. You're going to talk about groundbreaking?
Oh, yeah, we can do that now. Groundbreaking is August 11th, right?
Yes.
At 1 p.m. We're trying to figure out the exact location on the as to where it's going to be, but it'll be at basically Medallion Court on that side of the building. The current road to Buck Meadow is proceeding along, but it won't be anywhere near ready for this. Okay. Anything else, Sean?
That's it.
Okay. So we will start with items for discussion. The architect's report from Harriman. Jamie?
Good evening, everyone. Jamie Willett here with Harriman. Got a little presentation set up this evening. There was some requests at the last JSSBC that I wanted to share some information on, make sure I followed up from the last meeting. So I thought presentation was in order. We'll cover the Penachuk Middle School, the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School, and then 55 Franklin Street. There's a very light update on the end of that one. Wait for lighting.
Both up. Those two, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I did the first one first. It doesn't matter.
All right.
All right, over at Penachuk. So we continue to process submittals and RFIs that are coming in from Harvey. Progress is going well over there. There's a few items that we're coordinating, construction items that I was there on site today, reviewing a couple items that Harvey had asked about. Trying to coordinate the best approach on a couple items that may be challenging to finish up before the school starts, but we have some good solutions in mind already and just want to coordinate the best approach moving forward. So I bring that back to the structural engineer. We're going to have a little meeting tomorrow and work through some of those. A few design updates. We are working or have worked on some grading and walkway adjustments near the main entry. There's some grade differences that we're trying to work through. We have a proposal to Harvey. They're looking at trying to construct a little ramp there to get around some areas where the grades are a little high. So that's in progress. The dumpster pad, we provided some drawings to Harvey to relocate that, as well as to the city for the planning. Planning had to review it because it was a change in the site. So the dumpster pad in the initial design here was over near the fields. And the school administration thought it would be best to have that right near the, actually, they thought so, and we definitely all agreed that it'd be best to have that right near the kitchen area so that it was easy to dispose of any items that need to be brought there. And that's where it was before with a new bus loop going through there. A few adjustments had to be made, but that's what we're looking at doing right now. And then there was a proposal in your packages, I believe. I did hand some hard copies for anybody that wanted one tonight. Early on in the design phase, we had looked at dehumidifying some of the new additions and some of the existing buildings. And for budget reasons, we decided that we'd postpone that to see where the
Funding.
contingency, where the contingencies were going to be. And things are looking promising in that realm right now as we're pretty far along in the project. And so there is a design aspect to that needs to occur, and that's that proposal in front of you. Up here on my... so we're looking at doing that in a couple of different ways, or I guess there's numerous areas. Actually, before I get to what this would entail, I do want to be clear that there is areas in the building that are already dehumidified. Areas like the new library, IT rooms, areas where there's computers, administration areas. So this is picking up the remaining areas that should have them. Days like today are a good day to put this proposal out there. It's very warm and humid out, but so the ask from the district was to kind of break this out into a few different pieces. So the base bid would be all new building additions that don't already. It's basically the classroom additions. That's the base bid of the project, and then depending on budget, you can add in these alternates that would be proposed too. So alternate number 1 would be the existing classroom wings. Alternate number 2 would be the tech ed area. Alternate number 3 would be the cafeteria and kitchen area. Alternate number 4 would be the gym. There's with the mechanical portion of that work, there's going to probably be some structural, electrical, and architectural work that's involved. And so this proposal is for the design services that Harriman is proposing to do for the work based on the scopes that have been discussed with the school district. You can see that will take somewhere around, we have 14, 16 weeks in there for design time. We are, at our risk, have started a little bit of that background information so that we can try to cut that down to keep the project moving and on schedule. And the proposed fee is $98,000 for the design fee.
Yes. So, are there any questions relative to that? What we want to do is get it designed so that it can go to Harvey to price, and then we'll see where the budget is versus what we have. We definitely want to get the 2 new wings, the south wing and the north wing, done because they have a lot more sun exposure. But we're going to see if we can do more of the school It's gonna depend on where we're at budget-wise, but we need a design to bid. So what we're doing tonight is I'd like to get a motion to authorize the proposal that we just got from Harriman for the design of the, what are you calling it, dehumidification? Yeah,
I'll make that motion.
all right. Motion made by President Wilshire. Any discussion? Yes, Mrs. Raymond?
Thank you. I just have a couple of questions. So the design fee covers all of these options, correct? So that then we can go out and get the bids for each individual space separately?
That's correct. So
Okay.
we,
Yes.
in order to provide those alternate prices, we have to kind of do the design, and we'll break it into those different pieces so that Harvey can price each piece individually.
Okay.
But that fee is for the design of all those, plus the base bid.
Okay. And then, should we come into a situation where we don't have enough left in the budget to do, say, all of the options that are available to us, is it possible to then put it
Yes.
into our, ever-rotating list of updates to all our schools?
The answer is yes. That's why we broke it out, so that if for some reason budget-wise we can't do a space, we could always go back and add it later.
Okay,
When we'll have the price, or at least the base price at this point in time.
right. Which will no doubt go up because everything. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
How much of this do you foresee being able to do right away? Do you have any idea?
You mean installation right away?
Yeah, like how many of these alternates?
I believe we're looking at next summer.
Do you think you'd be able to do the first two, the first three, the first one? I mean, do you have any idea?
I
What do you
think
have
we
in
don't
mind?
really know the official
Yeah.
cost of each of the items, so it's hard to weigh that with the contingencies that remain.
Okay,
I think generally the base bid is what I hear is we're trying to go for, so I would say probably the base bid is the, nothing's, not, you folks will vote on whether you want to accept it or not, and how much you want to accept, but I think the base bid is like that, kind of that bare minimum, but even then you could say, no, it's too much, we'll wait till another time, so.
okay, all right, thank you.
So the earliest possible installation in any, even just for the initial one, you're thinking next summer, right? Our kids wouldn't have this relief for
Yeah, I think
September because there's not
Based
enough
on the
time.
workload that we have for everybody right now, I don't think we can squeeze it in sooner. And Harvey's advised us it's probably next summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right, getting the long lead equipment will probably be the hangup.
okay. I just want to make sure I understand the timing. We don't want people expecting to go back in 6 weeks now, 5 weeks, to an air-conditioned school. That is not realistic.
If I could, we've had a discussion with Harvey about providing lots and lots of fans.
Oh, okay.
They're going out and getting a bunch of fans for the, so that's not ideal, but it's a lot better than no fans.
Yeah, I mean, we can't.
It really gets hot, we'll put a ice cube in front of it.
That could be a very interesting middle school science experiment, I'm
There you go.
thinking. We could definitely build this in and make it educational.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the design funding for Harriman for the dehumidification. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Design done yet?
It's in progress, like I said, we started just some of it at risk, just to make sure we get ahead with schedule. Okay, thank you for that. Moving on to the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School. I think it's the first time I presented it as such, so that's very exciting. Congratulations. So over on that project, submittals and RFIs, same thing as Penachuk. That one's a little heavier lift than Penachuk. We've passed most of that on the Penachuk project, but here we're still deep into it, so that's going well. We had a meeting on site today, a construction meeting, and I was glad to hear from Harvey that the submittals are going to start waning because they've been a heavy lift, so. Design updates over there. We are, let's see, design coordination. So we're just working on coordination items with Harvey, kind of like we're doing over on Penachuk. But some of this work is a little bit before they kind of reach areas and just making sure that things are going to go smoothly as they reach those areas. So that's been very helpful and working quite well. There was also a request to do an ice melt entry walk design from the school district. It's similar to what they have here at this school. There is a few differences, like one is we're going to carry it all the way
Over the
to,
street.
all the way to the streets, all the way on both the bus entry and the parent entry would go from the doors all the way to the edge of the walk. And so that design is actually out to Harvey right now. They have a few questions on the proposal. So once they have pricing, they can come back to this board and look to see if you'd like to move ahead with something like that. I think the big key to those things is that it's it's definitely a safety item where the ice is melted. That's a definite. The other thing is actually the maintenance, not only outside but inside the school, because instead of throwing salt and sand at the entrances to the door, it gets carried in and ruins your carpets and tiles and stuff as you walk in. That help diminishes that. So I think this would be a nice add to the school as you have here, but we'll see where that lands for
Yeah.
pricing.
Flooring on the main entrance is going to be tile, ceramic tile like it is here.
Yep.
And to keep it from getting scratched up, which is why we did it here, and dragging in all the dirt and sand and everything. Also, just before he goes on to the planting information, this is a rendering. It doesn't necessarily reflect the planting. Like this right here is going to be grass, I'm not even sure what it looks like, but so this is, and of course the trees won't be that big
Initially.
initially. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we kind of represented the trees to the left and stuff are like a 20-year growth or 30-year growth, somewhere in that range. But and you're right. This is Alderman and Dowd and I spoke about this earlier. It's like this is a rendering. We try to, some of its niceties, but for the most part, it's gonna be very similar to this. So where you see the trees and the islands and stuff like that, that is a representative of where there will be some level of planting. So. And that brings me, as a good segue into the next discussion, I think this was the topic that was asked at the last meeting. We had talked about meeting with the Conservation Commission and also information that was shared with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services about plantings and landscaping. And so that question came up, like, can we see what that's going to be as well? And I said, well, of course you can. So, I'm gonna move forward, and if there's questions, feel free to kind of interrupt on this because you may not see something that I've already shared, but I've kind of highlighted a plan here. So these, and I'll show you what they look like, or you can actually flip forward if you wanted to. But there's different types of grasses and seeds going onto the fields and into the terrain. The conservation mix is just as it sounds. It's more of a conservation type seed mix. You don't regularly mow it. It has little flowers and stuff like that. And there's a picture that will show in a second. You can see those areas in yellow. It's a lot of the. Oh, interesting, Alderman Dowd. I see that it shows a conservation mix down there, but I think it's actually no mow. So I'll have to confirm that.
I'm okay with it being a pollinator garden there.
Yeah.
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 next to
So
the school.
maybe that
That'll
is
look
what
nice.
it is. I was mistaken earlier when I spoke, perhaps, but I will look into that.
I mean,
Um,
where I was talking about right
Yeah,
here?
yeah, we can review that to make sure, but
Yeah.
I think the idea, though, is it's a pretty steep area. I know Mr. Smith and I were walking it earlier and noting how, that it is steeper and it would be a difficult thing to regularly mow. And so we want something there that is not, that's something you regularly mow. It looks natural. We can consider something different, but I think this is what was presented to Concom. Anyway, so moving on to erosion control, that's the orange areas. Those areas are in the drainage swale. So a lot of the water that runs off from the parking lots, the roof of the building, potentially if it doesn't make its way to the roof drains out that way. Even off the fields, some, if it just has a runoff, it runs into those orange areas, and those are retention ponds. And it's not expected those will be full. They just hold the water as they leach into the ground. you may have a heavy storm and it may have a little bit of water for a short bit. But that is a erosion control mix in there, and that's made to survive those wet, damp areas. The green areas shown kind of on the north side of the property there, and then a little bit in the front. That's a hydro seed, so that's a typical grass seed that you'd put maybe at your house. I mean, not a lot of people hydro seed their homes, but similar to that, in general lawn areas, stuff that you would have to mow and maintain. No-mow grass, it's actually hard to see on screen, but it's easier probably to see in your print. A lot of the grass in the back area of the school, near the utility area of the side of the school, some of the top area near the north side of the play fields is this. Back there, and then up on the north side near the fields, there's some no-mow. And that grass is, as it sounds, it's a no-mow. It's not that you never mow it, it's just that you mow it a couple times a year. It actually grows to a certain height and kind of lays over. So it kind of reduces maintenance and is better, better than for the earth, because you're not running a lawnmower all the time in those areas. So. And then wetlands mix, that's purple. That actually runs across near the vernal pool area. There's some wetlands up there, so this mix is made, kind of a type that would be in a natural environment, similar to the conservation mix, but made for wetland types. And then athletic field mix is your traditional athletic field grass, and that is an irrigated area, so it be covered with irrigation in that area. Some of the front plantings are also, well, actually all the front in the islands of the parking lot are irrigated as well. All right, so here's what that looks
Amy,
like.
go back one slide.
Sure.
Area,
Courtyard. Courtyard area, that's concrete, and then there's pavers inside there at the kitchen area to the right of the lighter, it's like a little bit darker stipple. That's the pavered area for students that want to go out for lunch. There's a fence there to kind of keep them back in that area.
I just was wondering, I don't see the purple on the map, and I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's up where the vernal pool is, right up at the top?
Yeah, the vernal pool's off screen to the north, but
Okay.
it's that area.
All right,
yeah.
thank you.
I don't know if we're bringing it up tonight, but we are under direction from DES, Army Corps. We are going to put a stockade fence around the vernal pool with signs that say no trespassing, and I forget what the rest of the sign says. But
Okay, that's
Okay.
that says, don't go in here.
yeah,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah.
I have a
Welcome to our UL. Notice there's no people in it.
Thanks. Oh, my goodness.
Yes,
Raymond?
Mr. Raymond?
Sorry, I got distracted. I'm just curious if the Conservation Commission said anything about ticks and tick control with some of the larger grasses and wildflower plants. I know that the idea is not to have students tromping through fields of wildflowers at no-mow grass, but at the same time, do we know if they're tick habitats or if there's a way that we can make sure that our kids aren't exposed to Lyme?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure that the types of plantings there are.
Get chickens.
I would love to get chickens. I heard that. We can have a middle school chicken thing,
I
but
love it.
Yeah, it was not brought up by the Conservation Commission. We can review that and discuss that in-house. I don't think it's a regular problem that because this mix is used on schools often, but I definitely can ask the question and come back from the landscape architect.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So you can see here the conservation mix, the yellow one that was in the previous screen. It's and this, please recognize that this imagery is, like an online Google type search. It's not always what you're going to see perfectly, but it's the idea is it's a little bit taller flowers, some natural growth, feels natural, is made for butterflies and bees and such to perhaps come and grab some nectar and stuff. So. Erosion control, very similar. It's again, it's made to retain the earth, prevent erosion. The no-mow grass was shown in cyan. You can see it's kind of, a grass that grows to a certain height, laps over. Like there's a close-up, and then to the right is a little bit further away to kind of see what it looks like from a distance. That grass is a grass that if you do regularly mow, it will kind of quote-unquote learn to, be cut and expected to be cut. So something you want to follow, and our team is going to put together some information for the maintenance staff so they know kind of what areas are what and how to treat each area. Wetland mix is the next one on the bottom in purple. Similar, so kind of have some similarity, but it's made for, again, that wetlands use.
You see the
Oops.
retention ponds already? You can see this already growing quickly.
And that's all I put in there. The general grass, I think everybody knows what that looks like, and then the athletic fields is typical athletic fields.
Sorry, one more.
Mrs. Raymond?
On the, actually, on all of these mixes, are we working with the Conservation Commission to make sure that they're New England natives and not, mixes that are coming from across the
They
country?
are.
Lockstep with Conservation Commission on all these plantings.
Okay, great.
This, they are native grasses, all of them, and mixes. And we've actually shared these same images and discussed with them and shared actually probably a little more detail with them, so.
Yes, if you'd like the Latin names, we can provide.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, I'm good, thank you. Sorry, this is a pet interest of mine.
So this is just a little zoom in a little closer. You can kind of see us planting island plantings that have native, low shrubs and a little bit taller trees. There's some plantings up near the building. So there's a mix of variety, but again, they're things made for the situations that they're in. And then down on the south side, same thing, a few plantings. You can see the trees down along Medallion Court.
How,
Actually, go back one. We were also going to put some plantings in here as well.
Yeah.
is that where the construction building is now?
Yes.
Okay. How much of a screen will those trees create for our neighbors at Medallion Court?
They are trees that will grow 20, 30 feet, generally, some of them, not all of them. I'm forgetting the mixes of them, what they are, but they're more of a tall tree. This building is a tall building. Once you go to the site, or if you go down that area,
Yeah.
you're gonna see the elevator tower built. There's two elevators in this building. I think we've discussed that before, but that elevator you're seeing there is only to the second floor.
Wow. okay.
So the other elevator goes up to the other floors.
Wow.
So,
It's a big building. Even these trees, when they're fully grown, will block it entirely.
yeah. But it gives them a natural presence and not just a building on that end, I think is the intent of this.
Right.
I will say that I'm pretty excited for that wing to be built because there's a lot of glass on the end of that upper area there that you'll be able to see quite far south, so.
Up here?
No, down the bottom, all the way to the side, right there. Down that corridor, you're gonna be able to see out
Yeah.
quite far. It's gonna be really nice, really, really nice.
Alderwoman Timmons?
Yes, I just have one question. What type of trees are they?
I couldn't recall the names of them. I'd have to bring up another plan, but
Big.
it's,
I hope they're not pine.
No,
no.
No, okay.
And in fact, we were looking at something right here. What do they call those
They didn't want arborvitaes,
Yeah,
right?
they don't want them, the conservation. don't want 'em.
Arborvitae's, no.
Yeah, so it'll be something else.
So here is that rendering a different
Serviceberry,
angle.
maybe.
Somebody say my name? Oh, that's somebody say my name, sorry.
I'm sorry, I was telling Alderman Dowd he should choose Serviceberry over Arbor Vitae.
You can see some different plantings, and that's kind of a general look at kind of what the different plantings were. There's some trees and there's some slow stuff, and so it's going to be a very, very attractive area. Any more questions on the Brian S. McCarthy School?
Very nice.
All right, going on to 55 Franklin Street, again, a very light update here. We've had some construction meetings and correspondence on that, and again, submittals and RFIs. being processed between both the Harvey side and the EEI side. As Alderman Dowd mentioned today, there's some discussion on making sure materials can come in on time and keep this thing, right on path. I think there's some concerns there, but I think they're working through them and trying to figure out a good solution. But I should have kind of had this backwards. The permit was received for construction, and construction is ongoing, so Harvey's down there and working away, so.
Yeah, the towers are, the bases are in, the foundations are gonna be poured, and the steel will be going up soon. Mike, how do I want to cut into your talk? Are you going to cover the street thing, or you want me to?
No, you can, fine.
All right, the Board of Aldermen passed an ordinance,
Oops, sorry.
passed an ordinance to make all the streets around the school one-way.
Oh.
This area right here, when the cars park here with the students, it takes that whole lane up. In fact, I got a picture of a truck there yesterday that we had to get moved because people were coming down Franklin Street here, coming down here in Charles Street, were going right by that, through that stop sign, as they always do. And I expected a big crash right about here. So this yellow line's coming out. The parking markings will go along here, and the bus markings will be over on Locust Street. So we're in the process of getting the markings done on the street and getting the DPW's putting in the signs so that before school opens, we hope to have that all done. And it'll be one way. Charles will be one way up a certain distance. Winter Street will be one way going that way. So lots going on. By the way, if you go in the building right now, amazing amount of construction going on. There's like an army in there. And the ramp. Oh, yeah, you got the ramp. All right.
Sorry.
Don't steal all my thunder.
Right.
Can we have that picture back up, though, for when we talk about the ramp?
I have some pictures.
She's going to cover it in hers.
Oh, you have pictures, yay.
I do. I gave Ken the night off, yeah, but no. So we still are gonna go through all of our construction update.
Okay.
Better? Okay, so we'll follow up, just like what Jamie did, and get through the progress on the schools, starting with the new middle school, or the McCarthy Middle School. So right there is the overview of D'Antonio Drive, now that that's all been named. When we talk about quadrants, kind of A, B, C, and D, or areas A, B, C, D of the building, you can see which areas we're talking about. C is where the construction is beginning thus far. Well, actually in most areas, but it started in C, working page north, if you will. And then Ken's called out the emergency vehicle access road that we know comes off the circle there. The general activity going on now is in your packet there, if you want to read the fine print, the site work development. So the new access road, D'Antonio Drive, a lot of progress going on there, a little bit of blasting. The electrical service to the building will be coming up that road this fall. We are completed the tree clearing, working on underground drainage and utilities at this point in that vicinity. Looking to do some first coat of pavement, some binder, very soon. I think we'll see. Actually, the pictures are a week old because we submit them as of last week, so you don't always see what is current and up to date exactly, but making good progress there on the exterior of the work. The building sequence, working through with area C first and B second, and have done some foundations and slabs and are continuing through the major slab on grade placements. The dates are listed there in July and August, so we'll get some good progress, so.
Just before you go off of that slide, today I went down there to the meeting, and there was a parent here with a child in a stroller, and I thought they lived in the area, so I stopped to ask them what they thought, and he says, "Oh, no, they love it. My child likes to come here, he likes to watch the construction." He's about 3 years old, he loves the trucks.
Oh, I bet.
So here's some of the pretty pictures. So on the lower left, you can see the elevator shaft that Jamie was referencing, and
It's only a couple floors right now. So it will be a big building. The upper left picture just showing the plumbing pipes that go into the slab before the slab-on grades are placed. Also, lower right, prepping the slab as well, vapor barrier and the things that actually are under the concrete. And the upper right-hand picture is a ginormous concrete footing getting put in. That square will get filled with concrete. It's full of structural rebar in there now to reinforce it. So, I mean, and that's a big, the truck actually in that picture
It's
is.
huge.
It's a rock truck. It's hard to see the magnitude of that footing in that truck, except for the worker standing right there. So a lot of progress there.
Yeah, if you stood next to one of these tires, you wouldn't come up to the top of the tire.
Maybe explain to them what a footing is.
Footing is similar to what you see in the upper left-hand picture, the concrete block that's buried in the ground it has those structural reinforcing bars in it just to make a strong foot, if you will, for the building steel to sit on. The steel will be coming next week, actually. We're going to start working on erecting steel, so making good progress there. Long way to go, but making good progress.
I think the crane's gonna be there Monday.
Yeah, yep. Moving into
One
Penachuk.
question.
Oh,
Question?
sure, yeah.
Question.
Alderman Timmons?
Yes, thank you. My question is there a physical address for Brian McCarthy's school?
It's on D'Antonio Drive.
Yes.
We have one, yep.
I forget the number
I don't remember the
exactly,
number.
but it's on the end.
Can we put that on our documents so we know exactly? I know where it's at, but, I'd like to see the address.
Okay, yep.
Alderman
It's
Hatt?
probably,
Yes.
It's 41.
I think so too, but I didn't wanna go out on a limb.
It was
It's
on one of the
41.
documents last week.
yep,
or
it's
last month.
actually the PCCOs, when we get there in the upper right corner, have the updated name and address for the
Oh,
site.
okay.
So
Okay.
it is
Okay.
41 D'Antonio
41.
Drive.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving into Penachuk. Similarly, we have this phasing plan that we have been working with for quite a while. We're making progress in a lot of different areas. And then, I guess, just going through the left-hand side, we're working to finish that north classroom addition, which will be done this summer. We're also, which is on the top of the page, yeah. We're working also in the Learning Commons addition, which is not slated to be completed till December, but that is moving on track, that we'll see in the pictures. I think the steel's been erected and moving forward in that. We have begun doing a lot of interior renovations because we have the opportunity this summer to do so, specifically science classrooms, the gymnasium, corridors, and the current library area where we've got some swing space set up. So there's a lot of action going on the inside.
Yeah, the new library, till this is done, is gonna
Right.
be right here.
Yep. Also working on some exterior building improvements, finishing the roof replacement, remaining mechanical units and things like that, and then the site work outside to finish the traffic light work, curbing, paving, and all that good stuff. So if I flip to the picture, thank you. Then you can see some of that binder coat paving that has gone down towards the front, some new sidewalks going in the picture on the right, and the fields. I think this shot probably is missing the, in front of the gate, right cut off at the bottom of the page, I think is actually where we've made some access better at the gates and just doing some minor work at the fields. So there's progress really happening all over. When we go again, we'll get to the interior. You can see this is corridors and the other classroom, the north classroom wing.
I think all the lockers are in, right?
Yep, in there. We've got more to put in, but yes, there's more of that. So it looks obviously very similar to the other classroom addition that's been completed and they're already using. And then the nitty-gritty now with the interior renovations, you can see ceilings are out, floors have come up. There's been a lot of work going on. This is where Jamie and his team are helping us, come through solutions structurally to deal with issues that we find when we open things up to, in this case, we found some walls that were there that we weren't sure that were there, different things that you find. And things that, you know, differ in the field than they do on the drawing. So we work together to come to resolution on those and find the best, sometimes fastest solution.
So the parents that went to Penachuk, these hallways gonna be a lot different.
Well, you can see all the electrical conduit, the small pipes, and then up higher, you'll see like the bigger white insulated HVAC piping, and there's a lot of stuff in the ceiling, so if we have to put in a structural beam across that for any reason, or in similar areas, sometimes you have to relocate those conduits or pipes. So it depends on, you know, what's happening, but we're, we're working all over the place. And we've got a good handle on it. It's just a lot of work to do to take advantage of the vacant space. So, a lot of action there. We'll keep on going. He's got one more for the library edition. So this was putting the steel up there, and that has been done. Now we're doing some rough-in work and getting the exterior wall framing going. So, again, that's kind of back burner because it's not due to be completed till the end of December. So the pictures next month for all these schools will be really exciting because come August 25th or whatever our date is, we have to be ready. So a lot of these things, aside from the library, but a lot of that interior work should look buttoned up. The gymnasium should be well on its way. I know there's no pictures of the gymnasium. That's another challenge to get. It takes a month to get the wood floor refinished in there and getting that going. So we're working diligently to get as much completed as we can, but I think the site work will look great with the traffic signal working and all that. So lots of progress at Penachuk. Right. Next one, Fairgrounds. Just a quick note about Fairgrounds. We've gone back in there to do a few other upgrades that we have talked about and approved previously. So we just kind of threw in one update on that where we're doing some flooring replacements in the library, nurses area, et cetera. So there's a little bit of work going on that way. Some lab tables that came in late were able to get installed, and some new ceiling mounted cord reels. So there's just a few items going in, and then some wall protection will be going in off shift when that material arrives. It's not coming until after school starts again, but we've been able to pick up a few of these extra changes and upgrades, if you will, while the school is vacant. So we're still there too.
That'll be so
Okay.
nice.
Yeah,
The
but I mean,
new-
they all look great. Yeah.
Yeah, the new carpeting and stuff in the library will be wonderful.
Okay, moving on to Franklin Street. So I actually don't have a picture like Jamie did of the outside, but of the nice face of the building. But at each end, we have put in the supports, the structural supports for the exterior egress stair towers. So kind of in the middle is where we start with the, digging out the dirt for it, and then some steel piles were driven in, which is basically a long piece of steel, just get driven into the ground, and then form a concrete pile cap around it with some more of that reinforcing bar in it. So that's kind of what happened on the left. We poured those pile caps, and then on the right is where we're now backfilling and getting ready to place a slab that the stairs will also, that you land on with the stairs. So the top three pictures are representative of the two stair towers, and then the bottom picture has little cylindrical concrete piers that we have put in the ground that we're going to land the new ADA ramp on. So those, we have, 5 weeks, 6 weeks till school starts. We're going to have those in place for that time. But the steel stair towers have to go off to the galvanizer, and that takes a couple weeks to do. So fabrication is ongoing for these components, and will proceed.
Potentially the new playground equipment will be in this area.
That's what I was going to ask. So is that where the footings are for the stairs? Is that where the mulchi area was? Or is it?
No, it was always back here,
It was always back there, okay.
but they're gonna put a new surface and a new equipment.
That'll be nice.
And then on the inside, moving from right to left, when we're doing construction abatement, the floor kind of gets wrapped in plastic, and negative air machines are put in, and then demolition and abatement occurs, and material gets removed, and then air clearances are taken by, the inspection company to make sure that it's safe to take the containment down and enter to do other work. So We started that, it took about 2 weeks to get through the abatement, and that's on the second floor only. So these pictures are just the second floor. And then on the left, you can see us framing new walls. There's not a lot of that, but some, and then just kind of the bottom picture is what the corridor looks like at this point. So we are working hand in hand with EEI, the other contractor who's doing mechanical and electrical upgrades. I don't want to steal their thunder and show their pictures of their work, but they've got a ton going on. And, you know, we're working together to sort of take turns in the areas we work on the floor so that we're not in each other's way. So they're putting in new ductwork and ceilings, but yet we have to put in new walls and drywall and electrical outlets and other things. So we're just kind of working together to get through it.
Next time, we probably ought to have some pictures of what they're doing, because they never come to these meetings, so,
Okay.
Or I can ask them to come to the meeting.
or we can ask them to come to the meeting, yeah.
And so that is it for construction progress. Any questions?
Any questions?
No?
All right. Moving on.
Okay, then if I can move along, I'll just go through a few PCCOs. So the PCCO that we're starting with is for the McCarthy Middle School. It's a prime contract change order, so that's comprised of all the previous PCOs that were approved at last month's meeting. So tonight, we would request the signature and approval on PCCO number 3, which is in the amount of $56,496.43 for the 3 PCOs, 5, 6, and 7, that were approved last meeting.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve PCCO number 3 for the McCarthy Middle School, and it's in the amount of $56,496.43.
So moved. Yeah, well, you got the last one, I'll get this one.
All right, Alderman Wilshire. Any questions on PCCO number 3? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Kathy?
Thank you. Moving on to Penachuk Middle School, we are presenting tonight prime contract change order number 11, which incorporates all the previous approved PCOs from the last meeting, which was actually just one, PCO number 38 for that resource room. So PCCO number 11 is for a value of $30,407.80.
Can you say that again?
$30,407.80.
Just try taking the notes.
So I need a motion to approve
I'd like to make sure it matches.
PCCO number 11 for the Pentachuck Middle School in the amount of $30,407.80.
So moved.
So moved, Mrs. Jugneo. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kathy?
All right, thank you. Moving on now to Franklin Street. We have some PCOs for approval this evening. The prime contract change orders that you would have been in your packet. The first one is PR number 1, which was changing the flooring in the pantry and adding a little bit of wall patching where some casework is demolished and repairing some laminate edges on the counters as needed, depending on what it looks like when the demo is done. So right now, this PCO is comprised of the cost for the flooring change, which is the majority of the cost, and then the other patching-related activities. So this PCO number 6 is for the value of $6,325.11.
So I need a motion to approve PCO number 6 for the Franklin Street School in the amount of $6,325.11.
So moved.
So moved. Okay. Any questions? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next on to PCO number 7. So this PCO number 7 is for proposal request or design change number 2 for addressing comments made by the state fire marshal during the permit review process, where in the basement, they wanted to reduce the length of a corridor, a dead-end corridor. They wanted it to be shorter. So there were some wall layout changes that basically accommodated wall and door changes to the office layout in the basement for that work. So that PCO, again, it's on the basement level, so it will happen next summer when the basement level work happens. The value of the PCO is $11,954.32.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't
For
say it yet.
PCO number 7, the amount of $11,954.32. This is Raymond made the motion. Questions?
Yeah, are we using the basement level? I know there's like the stage and those like gym rooms.
Right now, it looks like Ukraine, but we will be using it.
Okay, so currently it's not a space where students are at.
No, not right now.
Okay, good.
And just as a note, the stage is coming out, and this particular corridor where some of these walls are being added for that PCO, it was an existing corridor, but it exceeded the, allowable, if you were to build new, it exceeded the allowable limit for what's called a dead-end corridor. So he wanted to correct that in his review, so.
No, it makes sense. Children have little legs and we want them to be able to be safe. So we're getting rid of the stage? I missed that.
I think it's being it's split into some other spaces.
Okay.
Any other questions? Just take a vote on that?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay. Kathy?
Did we vote?
No, we didn't vote.
We
All
haven't
right.
voted.
I wasn't sure about that, so, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Kathy, PCO number 8?
Okay, PCO number 8 was a request to replace the art room on the third floor's countertop and to do it this summer. So in order to get material released, to have in hand to be able to fabricate that to the right size and shape, we did need to get this signed early. So was a picture included in the packet of what the existing countertop looked like, and a replacement was requested. So we priced 2 different options and went with the least expensive option. On the back of, on the,
So this is one I approved and signed ahead because of the timing.
yes.
There'll be a few more as we go forward.
So
Alright,
this was,
So,
you want me, PCO number 8, to replace the art room counter for a dollar value of $8,453.41.
so we need a motion to validate my signing this ahead for the urgency of the schedule.
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Gilio. Any questions?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Kathy?
Okay, PCO number 9 is for the abatement consulting company, environmental consulting company, to prepare and do testing for the abatement removal throughout the building, the remainder of the building. So last month, we went ahead and had to push to get the second floor done so that we could begin our work, which you saw photos of. We do need them engaged to do the entire building, but I didn't have the full building pricing at last month's meeting. So this basically is the remainder of the building, to have them under contract to be able to do our environmental testing and inspection service. So this is PCO number 9 for the remaining abatement removal plan for basement, first and third floors in the amount of $19,799.35.
So I need a motion to approve PCO number 9 for the Franklin Street School in the amount of $19,799.35.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Lambier. All right, any questions? Okay, all in favor signifying by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, last PCO is number 10. This is for the abatement of an abandoned fume hood that was found buried in the walls. So sometimes we'll find some occasional little gifts that have been buried in the wall. So basically, we need to remove that. It has some, like a pipe on it that's made of transit, which is has to be abated, so this hood has to be abated and removed for us to continue to do our work. So,
Yeah, the nature of this building, there were a lot of these ventilation fans, and they just buried them behind the walls before the last school was in there. So when we find them, we just have to take them out, so. All right,
so this one is PCO number 10 to abate and remove that hood and piping in the amount of $2,561.64.
so I need a motion to approve PCO number 10 for the Franklin Street School in the amount of $2,561.64.
So moved.
Okay, this is Heather Raymond.
What was the building in the past? Was it some sort of engineering or?
It was
Yeah.
originally built, known by Nashua Corp. as a laboratory.
Oh, okay. So, yeah,
Research and development there, so.
that sounds like it could have some chemicals.
Spider-Man's lair.
I think we're going to find more, that's all I'm saying. I think there'll be more. Well, that's
You said that it was made of transit? Is that like asbestos, or is that something completely different?
no, asbestos. I
Yeah.
think the transite pipe has asbestos on it.
Do you think, I mean, if you find more, do you think they'll cost as much?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think each time they do it, depending on how long that pipe is and how hard it is, but in that neighborhood, yes, I think there'll be more. So short of having an allowance to deal with future abatement issues, I suppose we could do that in a future meetings, to have a
Yeah,
PCO
We don't
sort
know
of.
till we open up a
We
wall,
don't.
and we don't open up a wall unless we have to, and
Right.
we open up a wall and there's one there, we have to take it out.
Right,
Okay,
second floor.
So-
Right, we've only done second floor, right.
Right, so we still have plans to open up the first and the third at some
Next summer.
point?
Next summer.
Oh, okay. Maybe we will want to make some sort of an allowance for next summer. Sean's giving me a look.
Well, next summer, we're taking, on the third floor, we're taking all the walls out.
Yeah,
So
so
we'll probably
I
find-
assume we'll find some,
Yes.
so, all right, we'll worry about that later.
all right, so I need a motion to approve PCO number 10?
Okay.
No, we already did 10. What did I just
No, we
say?
didn't vote on it yet.
We
no.
didn't vote.
Hold on.
Oh, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Getting ahead of myself, okay.
All right, thank you. So just to follow on to what Alderman Dowd said earlier on in his report, that anything that comes up in the next 4 weeks, in order for us to move forward and, be ready for the opening of school, if we come across anything that we have to take care of before the next meeting, I'm going to request that he sign the PCOs, just so we can move forward. So we're kind of, on this school, the schedule crunch for getting it done. So if anything unforeseen comes up, we'll have to handle it that way.
And unlike the new middle school, the McCarthy Middle School, these are lower value numbers that I can sign. Okay,
All right, the last thing on my list is Franklin Street Prime Contract Change Order Number 2. So this incorporates all the PCOs that were approved at last month's JSSBC meeting, which were PCOs number 2, 3, and 5. We did approve number 4, but it was a $0
Yep.
change, so that's why this shows PCOs 2, 3, and 5.
so I'll need a motion to approve PCCO number 2 on the Franklin Street School in the amount of $9,285.97.
So moved.
So moved by Alderwoman Timmons. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Kathy, anything?
I have nothing further.
Nothing further, so we're on to, Sean, who, you doing the recommendation for the,
Yes, so, and as you all know, the Board of Ed has requested the Joint Special take on the Birch Hill and Main Dunstable renovations. We foresee that being paid for in 2 ways. One is with ESSER funding, and the other one with bonded funds. As a matter of fact, just today, EEI, on our behalf, has put in for the ESSER funding. That went in this morning. And then this afternoon, the state already came back and said it approved. So that was good.
Wow.
I was very surprised that the state would react that fast. It was a good thing. It was a good thing.
One business day.
Yeah. So half, but not quite, but almost half the project's already been approved. That's a conceptual approval. There's still more process to go through for final approval, but that's a good thing. So in the meantime, we put out an RFP to hire an architect for this. And both EEI and our future construction manager will work with this architect to get the work done. And we received only 2 bids. Both were very good architectural firms. Both had great resumes. Both had done a lot of schoolwork. But the one with the lowest bid of the 2 was Harriman. So it was a good size. Originally, it was a good size difference in cost, but after discussing with the higher bid, they had included a lot of the EEI's work, which was the mechanical, electrical work. So the differences weren't that far apart, but it was decidedly Harriman was cheaper.
John and I opened the bids and looked at them, I go, whoa. And then we look at them further, and we found out but it was still a pretty significant difference for Harriman. So I'd like a motion to award the architectural design work for Maine Dunstable and Birch Hill to Harriman Associates.
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Wiltshire. Any discussion?
Do we have a quote? Or do we have to wait still? Is it in the, I didn't see it.
No. If you want to see him, you have him with you? Where you get the numbers?
The memo doesn't have any numbers.
We,
Or the timeline. It says the timeline is attached, but it's just one page.
The timeline should be a separate page. I
Yeah.
can tell you off the top of
Is
my
it here?
head.
The 12 weeks and.
Yeah, that was the
That's a different
timeline.
one.
that's
Right.
time.
So I can tell you the numbers off the top of my head, don't quote me exactly, but they're pretty close, I believe. So Harriman's bid was $737,000. That included their reimbursable costs.
Okay.
And then Turner, H.L. Turner Group, their bid came in around $815,000. I could be off on that a little bit, but that,
Thank
so
you.
there was a decent,
Did I
or-
read it?
originally that was,
No.
that was the higher one, but they had included MEP design, which was not part of their scope.
Okay.
Yeah, it was much higher.
Yes.
But even looking at the two, it's still, the
So about
most
80,000.
qualified low bidder is Harriman.
Right, I'm-
$80,000 cheaper for Harriman.
I'm entirely comfortable voting for Harriman. We've had a very successful relationship with Harriman thus far. I was just, because I was looking at all the attachments and I couldn't find it, and I thought, maybe I lost it or something.
I did not make, so I have electronic copies of the bid documents. If you wish to see them, I can send them to you.
No, they just weren't attached to all the, we get that agenda and
Each of them are
attachments.
that thick, so it's
Yeah, if
probably
you're having
why.
trouble sleeping, you want to read one of these?
No, I like the big picture.
I have a question about the EEI. This is the first time I've heard that company mentioned, and I wasn't sure what it is exactly that they do.
So EEI is the school district's performance contracting contractor. About 3 years ago, we went out with an RFP to hire somebody to identify energy saving and basically HVAC type issues across the district. They just completed work at the 2 high schools. Each of those was about $3.5 million, and it was projected to save money. Well, it's saving us money already. Now, that was a lease payment, so we're paying a lease, basically kind of leasing the equipment, but it is reducing our energy bill every month.
Okay.
EEI was the contractor for HVAC work at Franklin Street,
Okay.
for
They
the
were
same reason.
awarded
So,
Sole source.
yes, yes.
Yep.
So we went to the state, or EI did on our behalf, and they are for ESSER funding, because they went through that RFP process, they're approved for ESSER funding for Franklin Street and Main D. Birch Hill.
Excellent.
So that's
All
where
right.
they came on.
Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Timmons?
Thank you. Sean, do you know when we can get started on those 2 elementary schools?
As soon as you vote on this, then
I'm
you'll
gonna ask Jamie again, are you
Tomorrow,
done
huh?
yet?
invite Jamie,
Then
tell him to get work.
we want this done.
So when I met with both of them, I said, we have a very ambitious design schedule. We want your construction drawings done by January. We want to be bidding them out the next month.
Nice.
And we want to be starting work as soon as we can turn off the heat next spring. So
Nice.
we see 2 summer and 1 full school year construction season. So the next thing I need to do, I think it's in the timeline. So in the coming week, I will be sending out an RFP to hire a construction manager. And then between the 2 of them, we'll figure out the budget. Somewhere later on this fall, after we get the schematic design, and Jamie's going to work diligently to make that happen, then we'll have the information to go get a bond. And that's where Alderman
That
Dowd,
sounds easy.
all these fine people come in.
Yes. Any other questions? Ms.
Yeah, I
Giuliano?
just, is the work going to be done simultaneously in both buildings?
Yes.
Thank you. I might have missed that.
was gonna
while
ask
I was
that
Oh,
out
that's
there.
great. Okay.
Yeah,
And they're mirror images of one another.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, not mirror, they're flipped, right?
Yes, they're
They're
flipped.
flipped, yeah. So
Well,
the
they
gym
mirror,
and
yeah.
cafeteria are
Yeah,
transposed.
right.
So,
But-
unfortunately, on those schools, all the outside work's already been done, so there's no outside work. Parking lots and all that stuff were done on a previous project. So it's putting in walls, making the
The open
individual
kind
classrooms, and then, of course, the high vac, all had to be changed to meet that, so.
So that was my question. We've done security vestibules at those schools,
Yeah.
but this renovation will then take it the next step and give each classroom its own
Walls.
room with walls that
Yes.
go to the ceiling and a Columbine door.
With locks that work all the time. that-
Okay.
yes.
You can monitor the Birch Hill, because you don't live around the corner.
Right, I could walk there multiple times a day. I am sure that the principal would just be delighted to have me
I'm sure.
visit her all the time.
It'll be an occupied renovation, so it'll be during the school year. Probably we'll be using the gym as swing space.
Yeah,
Kinda
looks
what
like
we
we've
did at
done with all
Broad
the other
Street and Sunset.
elementary schools.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right, any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I'm sorry, who made that motion? I did. Sorry, thank
Yeah,
you.
okay, now I can ask, Jamie, you done yet?
Thank you.
Oh, I do have a question on those 2 schools. When it comes to the outside space, is it typically the PTOs that finance, like playground equipment, et cetera? Because I know that both of them, their playground equipment is getting dated or parts have been removed because of breakage to keep everybody safe.
Maine Dunstable just did theirs.
Yeah, I mean, this was brand new.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right,
yeah,
Maine Dunstable
yeah.
just did it. So it's just Birch Hill that's still out of date.
I think
They
the
have
last
some,
time-
I'm just curious.
I remember when it was a wood structure and we got
Oh,
a lot
that's
of
gone.
splinters. Everything over there now is
Hey,
really
I
new.
helped build the wood structure.
So the very
They have
short
a-
answer is yes, the PTOs fund the playgrounds.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
will help maintain it. We'll do repairs up to $300.
Up to $200.
$300.
We get a bench for that,
Very far.
buddy bench.
I know when we built the wood structure at Birch Hill, it was all parents and one of the students' parents were Stabile. So we got all kinds of equipment and stuff.
Yep.
Zero.
Salamators in their backyard.
Yeah, Birch Hill has been very blessed to, with parents and donations and
Yeah.
people caring about those kids, which is fantastic.
Okay.
If I
Do we
could,
vote?
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
So speaking of RFPs and everything, so the other thing I need to do, and I asked for it to be an agenda, but it looks like it didn't quite make it, but I'll be quick. Security vestibules. So the Board of Ed also asked this group to take on installing security vestibules at 3 elementary schools. And I won't name them in public because we want to keep that quiet.
Right.
So that's I'll do an RFP for that sometime the next few weeks to hire an architect to do that work.
Do we need a motion to accept that?
We,
To accept
You're getting
taking
ahead of me.
on the projects?
I'm
or
going to
do we-
need a motion for the joint special to accept the project for the security vestibules.
Do we need the name of the
So
schools
moved.
that
No, we
use?
can't.
Okay,
So moved by
Moved by
Mrs.
Mr.
Raymond.
okay.
Any questions other than the names?
We can talk to Chris Lassard about coming and giving us a non-public about what he's thinking.
Yeah, it's the 3 schools are the most difficult to do. So,
Okay.
all right, so, any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for remembering, Mr. Smith.
And I guess when we awarded the contract for the Main Dunstable Birch Hill to Harriman, we accepted that was just sent to us by the Board of Ed as well. So we accepted that project.
Oh, yeah, oops.
We now have 9 schools to be concerned about, so.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it's constant, right?
Fortunately, we believe the vestibules are going to be primarily or entirely state and federal funds. Money is somewhere in the political mixed master.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I saw something.
And federal government's got money coming our way, state's got money, so.
Which just, if you don't mind, just
Go ahead.
jogged a memory. So literally just today, Mr. Lassard, there's a state grant that's out that we are applying for a lot of security projects. It's limited to $100,000 per school. So what I had Christopher do was put in for the architectural fees for these 3 elementary schools. So at least we can hire the architect, get them moving, at least through schematic design, so that we can then have that budget number to or potentially bond, but preferably at some point the feds come through with monies to do it.
Not an excessive amount of money, but it's, hopefully it's paid for by the federal government.
I'll take anything that they're willing to give us at this point.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so, we ready for middle school plaque? Penachuk?
Yes, I think it was in your package, but just in case, I brought a hard copy for tonight. And purely for you to take a gander at it and make sure your name is spelled correctly.
My name is not spelled
Oh,
correctly.
no.
And I can't believe it, my name's gonna go on a plaque, that's so cool. But
It's like
it's Regan is my first name.
Let me find your first here.
R-A-G,
Regan.
You put an extra A in there.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Okay, well, thank you. That's why
Thank
we
my
did
Uncle
this.
Ronnie for that.
Would you like your middle initial in there?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Some people do. That's why I'm asking the question, because
Yeah.
some people are,
Don't have any.
some people don't have a middle initial, some people want to be a junior, some,
Children don't.
I do.
and if anybody else sees anything else that they think is wrong, let us know. So once
Yeah.
that goes in brass, it's hard to change.
yeah, we
Thank you
still
for-
have some time on this, so, if you think of it. And
Thank you for
we'll try to
printing this
capture
up.
the people that are here tonight.
So I appreciate that you printed it up, because when I pulled it up on my little iPad here, the formatting was all messed up, and I was like, oh, this doesn't look good.
So one other quick thing, at the groundbreaking for the new middle school, there are a lot of people being invited, but we're limiting the shovel bearers to 20 people. The members of the joint special will be able to have a shovel if they can make it. And
Got a hard hat, too.
the hard hat, so.
Do we actually have to dig? I mean,
Simulate it.
oh, okay.
No, you don't have to actually dig a hole. No.
When do we, when do we have to
When-
RSVP for
When
that
we did
by?
the DPW building, everybody grabbed a shovel, took a shovel full of dirt and threw it in the foundation hole the way it just dug.
Oh,
No.
it's good that you mentioned that, though.
Believe
That
me,
will
this
help
is
us.
just gonna be a pile of dirt. You can shovel it, and send it through, so.
When's the date of that again?
11th.
August 11th, 1
August
PM,
11th.
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Medallion Drive. There'll also be the beam there to be signed,
Okay, nice.
under a tent, so it's not, because the metal in a day like today would be wicked hot.
Yeah.
Do we have, is there a date we have to RSVP by?
Yesterday, no. You're gonna be getting an invitation
Okay.
We did.
They
already
did.
out?
Did.
Yeah, they already
Stacy,
out,
all right,
yes.
yeah, she's,
There was no RSVP date on here.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really have to, because if you don't,
I can
if you're not there, it's no big deal.
Okay. I have
I can
to,
come.
I'm starting a new job on Saturday, so I have to.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, still in the post office, but I have to wait until I get to my new job before I can ask them if I can leave early that day.
Just take a late lunch.
Yeah.
It's not going to be very long.
With a 2.0 unemployment rate, they probably say, okay.
Yeah, but I don't know that a late lunch will work if you have to drive so far.
I'll be in Weston now instead of Boston, so.
Oh, wow, that's a better drive.
That's a
Yeah.
drive, yeah.
Okay, let's pay some bills.
Okay.
Sean?
Okay, so we have 3 invoices from Harriman for work at the new middle school, Penachuk Middle School, should be McCarthy Middle School, Penachuk Middle School, and Fairgrounds Middle School. Those total $58,951.24. We also have 3 invoices from Harvey for work at Franklin Street, Penachuk, and McCarthy Middle Schools, totaling $5,797,407.22. We have a single invoice from Hayner Swanson, who is our surveying company, for work at McCarthy Middle School for $1,125.12. We have one invoice from Pro AV, who are providing the projection systems at Fairgrounds Middle School for $43,464.74. And finally, we have one invoice for Vanessa and Associates. They are a traffic consultant. Primarily, their work right now is with the intersection outside of the school. And that invoice is for $2,268.29. The middle school invoices total $5,702,443.86. The Franklin Street invoice totals $200,772,075. And the grand total is $5,903,216.61.
Do Franklin again.
$200,772.75.
Right in that number.
200,000, no,
200, 772 and 75 cents.
okay. All right. So I need a motion to approve the invoices in the amount of $5,903,216.61 as was presented by Mr. Smith.
So move.
So moved by Alderman Timmons. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right. Any comments by committee members?
Yes.
Yes, Alderman Wiltshire.
I want to once again thank the Board of Ed for passing the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School. The name, every time I see it, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
So I just really want to thank you guys again. It's quite an honor. Quite an honor.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It was an easy thing to do.
It was.
It was the right thing to do.
It was the right thing to do.
And we're
Absolutely.
changing everywhere it says new middle school to the McCarthy.
Yay. Yay.
We missed one tonight. I don't know how we did that. Yeah, it's makes things so much smoother now. And any other comments?
I have a comment.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with this school, but the school lunch program. It's still ongoing until August the 5th, so parents, please, Monday through Friday, breakfast from 8:30 to 9:30, lunches from 11:30 to 12:30 in the 5 elementary schools, and I can think I name them here, is Amherst Street School, Ledge Street School, Fairground Elementary School, Dr. Chris, and what's the 5th one? Broad Street. No, it's not Broad Street. It's I think it's the 5th one.
Sunset?
Nope,
Sunset
No.
Heights?
no,
Maine Dunstable?
No.
You said Amherst.
I said Amherst, I said Ledge.
Mount Pleasant?
Dr. Chris, and Mount
Mount
Pleasant.
Pleasant. I was like,
Mount Pleasant, thank you.
It's like a pop quiz.
Yep.
By the way, I heard that you had some minor interest in filling the one position on the Board of Education.
Yeah, so it's fascinating. We have difficulty finding enough people to run for office every 2 years, but
And now you get enough for
Goes to
full
show how many
boards.
people don't want a door knock.
I know 24 people are interested in.
23.
23 people are interested in filling
22.
that spot. Okay,
Sorry.
Jen, how many people is it now?
It's 22,
It's 22.
because Caitlin didn't, and then the lake person was a misprint on the list, so.
Okay, that would be why I didn't have that.
I even
person's
heard you had
information.
people apply from another state.
Yeah, people don't always understand the rules for being in public office. That's okay.
The only comment I'll make is be careful.
And what
Ditto.
about you guys? You guys have a,
We only have 4 candidates, not
Only
24.
Yeah.
Not 24.
oh, wow.
4 serious candidates, by the way. Good resumes, by the way.
And one of them is the former alderman who was in that position before.
Yeah,
Right.
interesting.
So,
Well, it'll be a race to the finish.
right.
No.
Oh, ours will be done long before yours.
When does your 60 days run up? When did,
We're doing
We're
it
gonna-
Doing it on
Monday night, we're gonna
Monday
pick.
night.
They're not dragging it out and making it a
No.
process.
oh, so
It's
you don't
easier
want to
with
be
4
transparent.
No, we can be transparent. It'll be transparent. You can watch it.
You could attend it.
You can attend it.
You could all come when we're meeting with all the 22
I know.
people at our next meeting on the 27th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
It'll be
Join
fun.
us.
We don't need a non-public. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved
Oh,
by-
wait, I have one more question. I take it back. When is the August meeting? Because Nashua goes back to school is always the Thursday before school starts,
That's
and
right,
I
it's the
never can
20th.
go because of this.
I think we're gonna have
That's
to
the
change it
25th.
anyway because I think there's conflict with the,
So the 25th is the scheduled next meeting.
Okay, can we?
Thursday before the first day of school.
That is also Nashua goes back to school night when we have all the principals at the library and all the community agencies come to the library and people can get school supplies and, you
and
know,
if I don't show up,
meet there
former
and
Alderman Karen, maybe Alderman Karen, will be
But,
beating my head in.
right, it's always a rush to help set that up, do that, and then I have to leave and run over here to make this meeting, and I was just wondering if we could not do
So we're
that.
gonna change it because we're also the other meeting that's before this meeting is gonna be changed. And if we do have them the same night, we probably gonna start at 7:30 instead of 7.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can still do it. I'm always there too.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think we could do it. Just do it. We're a good
more
board.
If we have a quorum, you don't have to come.
I know, but
But you want to come, I can get.
I like this committee, but I'm gonna have a high schooler who has to leave the house at like 6:30, starting next month, so
It'll be very
get used
hot.
to
and we'll
it.
be happy to be here.
I don't wanna get used to it again. I wanna go
We'll
to bed
impose
early.
upon the two contractors to not have as many things to cover. Probably not.
All right, so, I'll make my motion to adjourn now.
All right, motion is to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 8:29.